Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We're going to continue on with our desert theme, and I've decided not to call this Dangers of the Desert because I think it might have scared some people. It's life in the desert, and what we're going to talk about today is environmental issues that are out here in the desert. Like one is that sun. I'm going to have to move, so hold on a second. I got out of that sunlight. It's about to blind me. That's another issue we'll work on a little bit later, but want to say we're going to call this environmental issues of the desert. And so I want to go on with what my previous video was mentioned about the snakes. Several viewers wrote in and said that, do we have any Mojave greenbacks out here? And I didn't know what they were, so I Googled Mojave greenback, and guess what? Mojave greenback is a rattlesnake. It's a more potentially dangerous and deadly rattlesnake than the western diamondback. It's kind of green and gray in color compared to the tan and brown as a western diamondback. But it carries much more neurotoxins and problems where you'll have respiratory and nerve damage and paralysis and death. So that's something I didn't know about. So therefore, beware of the Indian snakes out here. And in my 3 seasons I've been out here, I have not seen a rattlesnake yet. I would like to see one at some point, at a distance, of course. I've seen a few shingle-nosed snakes and a few little garter-looking snakes, so nothing of the big boys. But and my time of seeing those is probably going to start slowing down because it's going to be cooling down, and so we'll have less of a chance to see the rattlesnakes out here or hear the rattlesnakes. I hope I hear one before I see it. So give me that rattle, give me that warning to get back. One thing we're going to talk about in environmental issues is a lot of people out here talk about is the wind. And we've been lucky so far that the wind has been very, very mild. But wind out here can be crazy. I mean, just like the wind in Utah. You could be out here and you may get pretty calm, then you may get some wind days. And usually you notice a couple of days ahead on the weather forecast, it'll say wind, high winds, and it'll have the symbol and it'll say 35 to 45 mile an hour winds, and they mean it too. But the big thing with the wind is here, and it's like I said, it doesn't happen a lot. I've been through 4 or 5 dust storms out here. They haven't been really, really bad, but they can be. And so that's what you have to worry about. The wind is the dust and the dust storms, because when the wind blows through and it disturbs the ground, it picks up spores and mold and stuff from the ground that's been, especially in I think in disturbed places. So you have places dug up or whatever, and then you'll have a problem with picking that up, and that causes this. It's something known as valley fever. Valley fever is not deadly as far as I know, unless you have like other complications from respiratory or issues or a bad immune system or something like that. You know, it causes respiratory and allergy style issues and headaches, etc. And it's also not good for these guys because pets can also have issues with them. So you can get treated for valley fever. It's pretty common out in the Southwest in this area. So, and that's the part of it. We're going to deal with the wind. Again, the wind can also destroy your campsite. You can blow down your tents and blow down your awnings, rip them off the side of your vehicle, which I have seen done. And it just creates a mess, doesn't it? And one thing we're going to talk about is dust. And there's different kinds of dust out here. Like this on this bank, this is sand, pretty much sand. So you don't have much dust at all coming out of this. But you'll have sand. So that creates like that the gritty sandblasting feel you get on your vehicle and on your body. And then you have another kind of dust. And what's it created by? Well, how's it get in the air? Watch this. And as for the dust, you know, out there I showed you the sand dust, but over here and around, you'll find a lot of places that have what I call baby powder dust. It is nothing but just powder. And it hangs around longer than the sand does. So You can just walk through it and make dust clouds. So baby powder dust. Wind loves this stuff. It blows it everywhere. And this stuff just blows everywhere, as I mentioned. I do recommend if you're out here in the desert or any kind of windy area that you have dust, wear a dust mask and stay inside your rig if you need to, or in a house or something, because until it blows over. Usually it doesn't last a day or two, hopefully, and it goes on. And another environmental issue you may run into out here in the desert, water. Water is a life-giving nutrient for the desert, yes, and the animals that live in the desert, but the desert cannot handle a lot of water at one time. So what happens is, as you can see back over here, this is a wash. And I think the reason why they're called a wash is because whenever it rains somewhere up that way, who knows, 2 or 3, 4, 5 miles, a pretty decent amount, ½ inch, 1 inch, 2 inches, the desert can't soak up that much water, so it washes off and runs off. So what happens is, if you're here camping somewhere and you pick a nice spot like right here by the edge of the wash and set up a tent, and somewhere at 2 or 3 in the morning it rains up that way, and guess what? You're asleep and all of a sudden you may have water rushing through here. I've seen the water all the way across from here clear to the other side 2 years ago. And that was only with 2 inches of rain, and it took about a ½ an hour for it to get down here. So that's another environmental issue you have to worry about while you're in the desert, is water in the wash. And do not try to drive across or walk across something that's full of water, because you don't know where the bottom of it is and you don't know how fast it's moving. So you want to be aware of that. And just a quick footnote about the water and the wash. You know, on the other side, it's only like, I don't know, 6 inches deep against the bank. But look over here. What is this? I'm at the bottom here. That's about a good 3+ feet deep. So as you're walking across, if you attempt to, which you don't, all of a sudden you're 6 inches deep, and you're over here and you're at 3 + 4 feet of water that's roaring through here. Dangerous. So don't try to go across a wash either in a vehicle or on your foot, because you don't know, like I said, when it drops down. I mean, there's enough water through here that it's pushed trees over all along, and even water has been up here where Zen is at. That's a good 4 feet or higher. Water has been over that. So even if you're camped up there, another issue that you don't want to worry about is getting washed away, because you know, you don't have to get wet to get wet. So just another word of caution about the environmental issues out here in the desert. And what kind of issues have humans caused? Well, motorized issues. So you got vehicles out here running around, causing dust, causing damage, causing destruction in the ground, potentially lead to accidents and injuries of people and animals. And also these other things that are coming up here, just coming up next. And one of the human issues out here that are old wells like this. It's an old water well that's been here. Now this one has been covered up. I do know where there's another one that is just wide open to the ground. It's about 40-foot drop with no concrete, no bars, no nothing. It's just a hole in the ground. And if you're walking past there in the dark or whatever, you're gone. No one's going to find you, because it is about 40 feet. You can't see it with the flashlight. You can't see the bottom. But that's one of the human environmental issues, along with the mill and the, you know, the antiques and the artifacts and everything that's out here. You have to be aware of what the humans have brought into the desert that can cause injury. You know, even ATVs, they're right here, and they have accidents too. So, you know, your vehicles and your body and everything can get broken or worse. And just one thing you need to be worried about when I talked about that sun earlier that was really bright, it's the heat. The heat out here in the desert in the summertime could be 120+ degrees. So you need a lot of cool, you need shade, you need water. So you got to still keep yourself hydrated. You don't want to dehydrate. So if you're out on a hike, take water with you, find shade. And same, take your pets, take water for them, because they will also dehydrate. But the heat is a big issue in the desert and anywhere, because like I said, it can be very hot, and wintertime it can be down in the low 30s, but for the nighttime and up in the 40s, 50s in the day. But summertime's a different story. So if you get, to a point, grab some water, grab some shade, grab some air conditioning, grab some fans, and just try to stay cool, because you can succumb to your injuries of heat exhaustion or heat stroke. And if you have any kind of health issues, or you're elderly or problem like that, it's more susceptible to you to have issues with the heat. And I've had heat exhaustion before a couple times, and it's not fun. I mean, that's not heat stroke, that's just exhaustion. So I don't want to do it again. And as you get older, I think you become more prone to that. You can have heat related issues at any age. I know that too. So just find your place to stay cool if you can. That's why when I'm down here, most people leave in the summertime and go somewhere cooler. It's just too hot. So another environmental issue to worry about out here in the desert. I do want to say there are a lot of other things out here, like I have not seen tarantulas, haven't seen any. They're out here, different things that you may or may not see that may be an awareness. Just be careful of what's your area. Like again, we don't want to scare anybody. Come out and enjoy nature, enjoy what's out here, and bring your pets. Just kind of watch over them, right? So with that, we'll say thanks everybody for watching, and I hope you enjoy this little desert awareness issue that I put out, and just a public service announcement if somebody mentioned in the comments. So I like to inform the public, and I like to learn things too. I learned about the greenback rattlesnakes, didn't know that. So, and some of you learned about the desert scorpions glowing in the dark. So that's helpful. So thanks again for watching. See you guys on around the desert.